Some of these folks over at Velocity Banking Group America, they do not know how interest rate works. Okay? At 20K, it's still at 10%. 100K, it's still at 10%. Even if you break it down, if you partition it, okay? Your proof results will be the same as the total 1,000 here. When you add these two, because we partition them, we're partitioning those two, still $1,000. I wonder why some of these folks on YouTube teaching about velocity banking. Anyways, all right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Give me some stuff on the board. So, do not attack the mortgage, okay? So, even if you were doing velocity banking, okay, which is again an inferior debt repayment method because, okay, they are not consistent, okay, they do not have a cohesive message when it comes to how they go about their business, okay. Still, do not attack the lowest balance. The mortgage. Do not attack the mortgage if it's at 3.99%. and you get in a home equity line of credit with a home equity line of credit that is at 10%, okay? Because you have other items on the board, okay? Capital One, 29%, PayPal, Wells Fargo, Navy Federal, okay? So attacking the mortgage in this particular example, even at 10% HELOC, we're not even talking about 29% credit card. That's the highest, and the lowest one, 18% credit card. We're not even talking about those. We're only talking about a 10% HELOC. Okay? Do not use a 10% HELOC to pay off or pay down a mortgage. Okay? Unless you're doing even priority. Now, for us, like I mentioned earlier, we have the tag. Okay? The HELOC, America, it's still valuable. Okay? So, if single mom was able to get an HELOC, okay, to get rid of proper accounts like the Capital One and a partial payment, because the balance in the Capital One was $15,000 and some change. And a partial payment to the to PayPal, like 4,000. Let's see, 15,150 minus 19, so 3,850. Okay. The HELOC still good for transfer. Okay. So chunking wouldn't be a bad thing, okay? Use the HELOC, okay? HELOC's the chunk, so the balance on the HELOC gonna go up, and the balance on these two credit cards, this one will go to 0, and this one will get reduced. So credit card balance will go down, okay? So we could still use the HELOC, okay? So in their case, they'll be chunking with the HELOC. We will also be chunking. Well, in that case, we do transfer. Okay. So we use the HELOC as well. Okay. This right here is velocity banking. Okay. Since group A is a better group, so let's use group A. Now, with the debt weapon, when you dump all your paycheck into the account, okay, and then you just pay your expenses with that account, okay. For velocity banking, they'll dump all that income into the HELOC, okay. And for cash flow, because we want to talk about cash flow separately, so this one we want to say that this one was income, not including cash flow. So we could talk about cash flow separately. Okay? Cash flow, you want to send cash flow to the HELOC again for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Okay? We're trying to compare their results real quick, and that was group A, by the way. And let's do for group B. Group B, chunk, debt weapon, cash flow. They'll chunk, this time it's not to the credit card, HELOC. This time they'll chunk to the mortgage. Now we're doing group B. They'll chunk to the mortgage, so the mortgage will get decreased, just like the credit card got decreased, and the mortgage balance will get increased. Okay. Debt weapon, they use the HELOC, and cash flow they use the HELOC. Okay. Because remember, I cannot just talking about what they're doing wrong. I got to tell you guys about solutions or the proper way to do things. Okay. So that was group A, and this one is group B. Okay. For us, transfer, we use the HELOC. Alternative account, like I mentioned earlier, you'll be, in this particular example, it will be 2 alternative accounts. It'll be the credit card as first in line. First in line. Then you'll be the HELOC as next in line. Okay? The credit card will take care of all bills that could go on the credit card, $3,000 plus some minimum payment, and we'll see if we could absorb anything. But since the HELOC was interest only, well, they're only charging interest, we cannot absorb anything. And for cash flow, you'll be the credit card, or whatever credit card is left. Okay? Credit card or credit cards. Okay? So that's the difference. Let's take a look at the results and our results. For transfer, they made the transfer out of the HELOC. Okay? Okay? So same thing with these guys. Okay? Remember, we're not attacking mortgage at 3.99, so we'll be attacking the credit cards, whatever credit card is left. Okay? So credit card go down, HELOC goes up. Credit card goes down, HELOC goes up. Balance on the credit card goes down, balance on the HELOC goes up. Okay? No difference there. Credit card minus, HELOC plus. Credit card go down, HELOC increase. On the debt weapon, they have HELOC. On our alternative account, we don't use 1, we use 2. We have the credit card first in line, then we have the HELOC next in line. And the cash flow, they have HELOC 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. By the way, you wait, you lose. You wait, you lose. Okay? America, when you're paying off debt, do not send payments somewhere else temporarily for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Okay? This is nonsense. As you have the cash flow, send it in this case to the higher APR account, which is what they've done when they made the transfer. Okay? So 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, no. Send it to the credit card. Okay? Right away. Okay? If it's more than a day, if it's more than 1 day, you're doing something wrong. Let alone 3 months. Keep it in an HELOC for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Okay? As soon as the funds is available in the HELOC, okay? When they initially got the HELOC, as soon as the fund is posted, send it to the credit card. Okay? These folks, as soon as it's posted, they might wait, but let's assume they did send in the credit card, but on the following, for the following chunk, they'll keep it for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. And again, folks, you wait, you lose. Okay? Do not keep cash flow inside an account temporarily 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year before you send it again. Okay? That don't really make no sense at all. I don't know who came up with this 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year. Okay? Because remember, again, earlier you already established that payment needs to go to the credit card instead. So much so that you're willing to increase your HELOC so you could decrease the credit card. So now why are you keeping it for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year? I thought earlier you were willing to increase the HELOC so you could decrease the credit card. Okay? So, but we already know these folks over at Velocity Banking, they do not have a cohesive message on how they go about their business. Okay? So, credit card, credit card, credit card. This is where payment needs to go. Why? Because the interest rate on the credit card, again, were a lot larger, a lot bigger, a lot better than the interest rate. Well, not worse than the interest rate on the HELOC. Okay? All right? That's why you should attack the higher APR account. Okay? They got it right here. That's why they have the same answer as we do. They got it right. And then they start doing nonsense there. Okay? We got it right here, and we continue to get it right. Okay? The only time we involve another account because we are limited. Credit card cannot cover everything. When you have income comes in and expenses goes out. Okay? If you send too much income, okay, well, the bill not going to get paid. Okay? Because you will not be able to get that money out of the credit card instantly. That's why you're forced to be limited on this one as an alternative account. Okay? That is why you call for another account to take care of the bills that could not go on a credit card. Okay? On our method, we use 2 alternative accounts. They use 1 alternative account. And you know, for having movement of income and movement of expenses on these accounts, so long that income comes in first, 99% of the time, you're going to reduce your effective rate and you're going to reduce the monthly interest cost for the cycle. Okay? That's why we have 2. Okay? 1 additional item than they have. They have 1, we have 2. So that's 2 here. They have 1. Chunking, 1 chunk. Cash flow, 1. So it'll be 3 total savings for these guys. Okay. The reason why I'm only covering Group A, because Group A is, well, they're both wrong, but Group A is slightly better than Group B, even though they're both wrong. Okay. On the transfer side, not only will transfer with the new acquired HELOC and knock out those high APRs, okay, because all these APRs were higher on the HELOC, but we also use one of our superstar, which is Ambroise charge pay technique, where we'll charge whatever lower APR remaining with funds that could go on a credit card. Okay? So we could free up that funds in the checking account to send it to whatever higher APR credit card account remaining. Okay? So on the transfer side, initially it'll be HELOC to the mortgage. Okay? And then we're gonna leverage that and do another transfer when we employ Ambroise's charge pay technique. So we'll have two transfer. One transfer here, and then Ambroise charge pay technique. Normal. Okay? So two transfer. Two alternative account. And one for cash flow. So we have 5 items or 5 savings. Okay? 5 savings. So we're saving at multiple locations. They're saving at 3 locations. We're going to be saving at 5 different locations. Okay? As you can see, America, we're going to go past the finish line first. Okay? We're having more savings than they are. Okay? And not only that, we're doing everything else better than they are. These folks, not only they don't know how to properly transfer funds or relocating funds from one account to another in this particular example, because they're only doing one transfer when we're doing 2. Okay? Not only that, they're going too low on the credit limit. They only went 95% when we're going to go much higher than 95% of the credit limit. On the HELOC. Okay? But for them, that's an improvement because remember, they used to go 2/3 or 67%, 66, 67%. Then they went up to 80%. And now after watching some of my video, by the grace of God, now they want to go all the way up to, they want to go at least 95%. Because some of them understands now that the credit score will not be affected for going higher on an HELOC if increasing the HELOC will be to pay down or to pay off a credit card. Okay? Now, again, 5 savings versus 3 savings. Okay? So we have more savings than they are, and we're doing everything else better than they are. Okay? And again, folks, we could still use the HELOC, but the HELOC is limited. Okay? Some of these folks over at Velocity Banking Group, they think that this HELOC is an end-all, be-all, and end-all. Okay? That is why they tell their clients to go and acquire an HELOC or a PLOC or BLOC or first lien HELOC with one-way sweep, first lien HELOC with 2-way sweeps. Okay? Remember from past lesson in America, all these accounts, the HELOC, home equity line of credit, the PLOC, personal line of credit, the BLOC, business line of credit, all in one loan. Okay? And first lien HELOC, so these 2 terms could be interchangeable. First lien HELOC with a one-way sweep, the old ones. First lien HELOC with a 2-way sweep, the newer ones. All these accounts, America, are poor performing alternative account. Okay? Or they are poor performing debt weapon or debt tools. Okay? Do not use them whether it's a PLOC, HELOC, BLOC, all in one loan. First lien HELOC, one-way sweep. First lien HELOC, 2-way sweep. These accounts, folks, they are all limited. Okay? You could use them for transfer, but you cannot use them as a debt tool, at least not as a first in line when there's a higher APR credit card on the board. Okay? So don't be a lover of these accounts. Okay? Know where you could use them, know when you could use them, know when you cannot use them. Okay? They're not invalid. I mean, you could still use them for transfer. You could still use them, as a next in line. Depends on the scenario. Okay? But don't be like Velocity Banking. Besides chunking, they want to use these guys everywhere. Look at them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. They want to use the HELOC 4 out of 6. And again, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The HELOC is here, 1. The HELOC is there, 2. The HELOC is here again, 3. The HELOC is here again, 4. Okay? All right, America? With all these confusions going on YouTube, okay, about Velocity Banking, with all this confusion going on YouTube about Debt Snowball Group, with all the confusions going on YouTube about Debt Avalanche Group, okay? Here over at Ambroise Method, America, we are the shepherd, shepherding the flock. All this debt repayment method got too many weaknesses. Debt Snowball Group, Debt Avalanche Group, Velocity Banking Group. Okay? Too many weaknesses. They're not going about things the proper way. They do not know how to attack the proper account in the right sequence. Now, James, we get it. You've made your point that the folks over at Velocity Banking Group, they kind of outsmarted themselves. They kind of confused themselves. Again, okay? There goes the results. One group doing one thing, the other group want to do opposite of whatever the one group is doing. Okay? One group want to chunk to the higher, the other group want to chunk to the lower. One group want to use the debt weapon on the lower APR, the other one want to use the debt weapon on the higher. One group, cash flow, lower, cash flow, higher. Okay? So, and you've made your point that Debt Snowball Group, Debt Avalanche Group, and Velocity Banking Group, these three groups are inferior debt repayment method. Compared to Ambroise Method. So now if you were to rank the other groups, I know you're kind of biased, you're going to put yours on top, but as far as the other ones, where would you rank the other groups? So of course, we're going to be way on top, Ambroise Method. Okay. Then remember we have a debt snowball. Remember we have a debt avalanche. Okay. And where would you rank Velocity Banking? Velocity Banking will be ranked over here. Depends on the scenario, depends on the example. Velocity banking will be ranked over here. Depends on the scenario, depends on the example. Velocity banking will be ranked down here. Depends on the scenario, depends on the example. I could create an example where that snowball beats the velocity banking, that avalanche beats velocity banking. I could create an example where velocity banking beats that snowball but lose to that avalanche. I could create an example where velocity banking beats that avalanche, velocity banking beats that snowball. As you can see, velocity banking group, these groups is all over the place. Sometimes they could do better than that avalanche. Sometimes they could be worse than that avalanche. Okay, in terms of how fast they get rid of account. We're talking about our global debts now. Not one single account, but our global debts. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the mortgage, 6 debts. So all of our debts, not like one single account at a time, okay? And you're probably ahead for a second, okay? And then somebody else surpass you, okay? Because remember, my mentor used to say that the beginner is not the owner, but the finisher, okay? So, it's not how fast you started, it's how you finish. In this example, we're gonna add a HELOC, pin-fed HELOC, so that's 6 total accounts, okay? So, going back, again, they could do better than, could do worse than that snowball, better than that snowball. Worse than that avalanche, better than that avalanche, okay? These folks all over the place. Why? Because they are not doing things the proper way. Not only one group is doing something totally different than another group, and all these guys are teaching about velocity banking. Even inside one group, they're going about it their own way. Sometimes they want a chunk to higher, which is a payment. Income, which is another payment, lower. Cash flow, which is another payment, lower. Okay? So they're doing, all these are payments in America. Okay? So it should be on one line. Okay? For them, it's at multiple lines. Can I be here? No. Let me be there instead. No, let me be here instead. No, let me be there instead. See? Here, there. Here, there. Okay? Not consistent at all. Okay? So that's how we rank them on how fast they'll get rid of the global debt, which is the total global debt. Okay? We got all these accounts to zero. Okay? How fast can you get all these accounts to zero? The total. Not 1, not 2, not 3. Okay? The total. Okay? Because we have more than 1, more than 2, more than 3 on the board. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll have 6 on the board. All right, America. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America, again, I wanted to take my time to cover some of these items. Question posed to me again was, James, can you go over the different factions of velocity banking? Okay? And throughout the lesson, I've done my best by going over all the different various factions of velocity banking. All right, America. Again, my name is James Ambroise. I am the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0 and Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method, America, is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Thank you, Jesus. Until next time, America. Good morning.